Hola a todos, bienvenidos una vez más a la continuación de esta semana de Crypto Lawyers que tenemos para cada uno de ustedes. Les damos la más cordial bienvenida. Gracias por conectarse tan temprano a aquellos que estén subiéndose al Facebook Live. Primero, unos anuncios parroquiales. El día de mañana tenemos a Leo de Argentina y cerramos con México y tenemos una sorpresa ahí que tenemos preparada para el cierre. Y bueno, pues el día de hoy tenemos la presentación de Estonia. Desafortunadamente tuvo un pequeño percance Dimitri, pero el día de hoy nos va a acompañar Andrew, que bueno, afortunadamente él está en colaboración con Dimitri, entonces conoce muy bien la regulación de Estonia y cuáles son los avances y qué autoridades son las que están tomando el mando. Bueno, por favor, les pido que durante la presentación, si tienen alguna duda, pregunta, nos escriban en las redes sociales y nosotros vamos al final de la presentación, se la vamos compartiendo a nuestro panelista. También comentarles que la Comisión Nacional de Compliance, en colaboración con FinTechU, realizó este esfuerzo de la semana de Crypto Lawyers y vamos a hacer otra semana, pero esa va a ser exclusivamente para mujeres. Va a estar a cargo de Rebeca. Rebeca es la vicecoordinadora del Comité de FinTech y Blockchain de la CONACOM. En colaboración con FinTechU, vamos a hacer esa semana. Entonces, por favor, estén atentos de las fechas y de las panelistas que vamos a tener. Son tremendas todas ellas. Entonces, bueno, pronto les daremos noticias en las redes sociales de nueva cuenta, tanto de FinTechU como de la Comisión Nacional de Compliance. Bueno, pues sin más voy a dar la bienvenida a Andrew. Andrew.
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome, Andrew. Welcome to
glad
this
to be here
webinar.
today.
Welcome to this webinar organized by CONACOM and FinTechU. It's a pleasure that you are here. How are you, sir?
I'm quite well, quite happy to be here with you to speak today. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank you for accepting the invitation. Please, if you can share with us what has been your experience in the crypto world, and after that, feel free to start. It's your house, and you have the microphone, the camera, to start with your masterclass. Thank you, Andrew.
All right. So I will speak today about the cryptocurrency license in Estonia, how it is regulated, how it works, something from personal experience, some comparisons. So everything, how we help obtain such licenses and etc. As for my personal experience and me personally, I am a lawyer here in Estonia. I specialize in commercial law and money laundering prevention law. So that is basically my bread and butter. So I'm speaking from things and personal experience of what I do. As for Estonia, let's start from the basics, how it all started here. And the first time cryptocurrencies were introduced and in any way regulated in Estonia was in 2014. So it's not actually as new as some may think. Still, it's still considered a relatively new field. And it's still a very rapidly developing legal area because European Union provides some legislative initiatives. They work out directives on how to regulate it. It is even the terminology changes from time to time. So, for example, at first, cryptocurrency in Estonia was called alternative means of payment. Sometimes it was referred to as private money. Now it actually, in Estonian, it can be translated as virtual value. But in most cases, people use cryptocurrency, and etc. So it's kind of a universal term. And again, that field is being developed rapidly. So how it was regulated in 2014 is vastly different from how it is regulated now. And that mostly has to do with how the world actually reacts to the money laundering prevention in general. So the thing is, the cryptocurrency is a relatively new thing. So new technology, new idea, And countries, especially state regulators, do not generally know how to react to anything that is new. And they are afraid someone will exploit it, someone will use it, so they work out measures on how to work with it. So the basic gist is that the regulation becomes stricter. Not that they are kind of suppressing and trying to rule out cryptocurrency, at least not here in Estonia. They just want to be sure that the companies dealing with it are transparent, they are doing everything correctly, they minimize the money laundering risks, and etc. So considering that Estonia is one of the first countries to even implement such regulation, gives a hefty bonus. So we have more experience in working with it. So the only other country in European Union that actually currently provides any form of solid regulation in this field is Malta. So I'm sure that those dealing with crypto business know about it. But just for comparison, Estonian regulation provides many advantages. One of the main advantages is the actual cost. So just for comparison, an Estonian crypto company who wishes to perform cryptocurrency exchange services or open crypto wallets or manage its own crypto exchange platform currently must have a share capital of 12,000 euros. There are certain plans to increase that share capital to 25,000, but when we compare it to the multi-regulation where the capital has to be around 730,000, a different advantage here. 730,000 euros a month. Also, the legal costs for the whole procedure are also vastly different. Here in Estonia, the service for obtaining such a license can be around 5,000 euros plus minus. If we are talking about the legal costs in Malta, it can be somewhere around from 50 to 120,000 euros. So just the overall cost of getting basically the same license is kind of obvious. As for the Estonian regulation, how it changes, as I said, Estonia goes with the flow, with how the world actually cracks up on offshores, increases regulation, they want to prevent money laundering, finance of terrorism, etc. All that means is that an Estonian company must have implemented proper measures to combat that. Basically risk evaluation, ML officer, everything like that. So if we are talking about the conditions on how to obtain an Estonian license, there are not that many. So the first, as I already said, the share capital, 25,000 for a company. The company needs to have an office here in Estonia. It can be rented out, owned. The rental fees here are not very high. You don't need a whole floor or a whole building. So kind of simple that way. You must have a local board member. So that's like a director, a person who actually manages the company. And you must have a local ML officer. So basically that's one of the most important things. There must be a person here, you have to employ him. He may also be the member of the board, by the way, so that's not forbidden. Who actually has to implement all of those money laundering prevention rules, answer before state authorities, and the law says that he must have sufficient knowledge and skills to perform his duties. So it's he's not like a nominee person, he actually is responsible for this, but I will tell about a little bit later about how we help with that. I understand you have a question, or I can continue.
You mentioned two persons. One of them is anti-money laundering officer, and the other one is a board of the directors, right?
Yeah.
These persons needs some characteristics, a certification or something like that, or what is the
for the member of the board, generally, just sufficient proof that he knows what he's doing. So that it's so if a person has at least some prior history in corporate management or higher degree in finance or something like that, or at least some experience, it should be sufficient. With an ML officer, again, the law does not state that he has to have a high degree in law, for example. No. He just needs to provide his CV from which it is possible to learn that he has actual experience with it, or
Okay.
that he went through some kind of education and was taught how to perform these duties. Even if the state authorities have any kind of doubt about his competence, they merely will call that person to come and basically just asking some basic questions to see if he's actually understand what, for example, what is blockchain, what is cryptocurrency, what is money laundering. So they don't ask things like something like a professor would be struggling to answer. They ask a very basic questions to see if a person is actually, well, more or less competent. Well, they also ask, well, okay, what your duties are, what do you have to do? If such things are not really that hard to answer, to go through that conversation, it's not really questioning, it's more of conversation. You just come to the state authorities, they put up a cell phone, they say that they are very recording, and you just basically talk with the person. Generally a cute lady.
Okay. And for example, to monitor operation, you need some system. It's necessary for the regulation.
Well, the thing is, the company must have an actual ML policy. So the internal rules on how you go about this.
Okay.
For example, we help prepare those because this is more of a job of a lawyer. We help draw up such rules depending on what actually the client wishes to do, depending on the specifics of his business. And basically, those rules must be used and implemented. If cryptocurrencies, well, it exists only in electronic world. It's only in the computer and in the code. So obviously, some programs that help mitigate risks, evaluate persons, they're welcome. But the general rule is that no program, no service you may purchase or something like that, no strip of code can replace the work of an actual person. Programs, internal software you develop or purchase or whatever is welcome as long as it helps you, but you can't say our program didn't catch up on something. Always the person is responsible. And considering that Estonians want to have someone to ask questions directly, they want this person to be here locally. Okay, and basically that's all about basically the conditions, the ML policy. The only other condition that is important is that all directors, owners of the company must have clean criminal record. So basically proof from the country of citizenship that the owner of the company or another board member have never been punished for any crimes. So in Estonian, they basically say that the person must have a perfect business reputation.
Yeah, and we know that Estonia is a crypto-friendly country, and if you could summarize for startups that want to do a crypto project there to raise capital, what will be the benefits to start in Estonia?
Well, the first benefit is obviously the cost. It's a lot cheaper. So, and when starting a business, saving on related costs is one of the most important things to do. Because if you can save money, you can reinvest it in your own business. Another bonus is that Estonia, as you said, is crypto friendly. It is actually, I would say, it is IT friendly. So everything associated with the digital world here is very welcome. Basically, Estonia is a very IT country. So everything here is done online. What I mean is that Estonia has an e-residency program for people, for foreigners. They can apply and receive a card, e-residency card, that allows a foreigner to basically access all the local services. Start up a company, for example. You can start an Estonian company online. You do not need to come here if you have that card. Again, saving costs, saving traveling costs, saving time. Time is also money. You can apply for the license online. You just need to have local people here in the company, that ML officer, member of the board. You can sign agreements, you can make applications, you can go to a court online, for example. So everything is done online. There is no real paperwork involved in. So that's a bonus. And another actual very important benefit of Estonia is the local tax system. The thing is that in Estonia, you do not pay income tax, corporate income tax, until you decide to distribute your profits as dividends. So there is a tax, but it is postponed until the moment you decide to distribute dividends. And you have no obligation to do that at any time. When you decide, then you pay taxes, basically. This means that a company can reinvest its profit tax-free.
Oh.
A very important benefit for especially new companies that need to save on costs in order to start their business, to get the things rolling, so to speak. So if we combine all of that together, we get a very solid base to start a crypto business here. Regulation, relatively, well, so to speak, a cheap way to start up a company, get the license. The regulation is not overly strict. The state authorities and state regulators are reasonable. They are not actually like predators wishing to get something away from you. They work with you. They consider you more of like a client than something like, instead of someone they have to punish. A very good tax system, very IT friendly. So put all that together and you have a very good amount of bonuses. You can also add to that Estonia is in the European Union, so it is a very respected jurisdiction. You benefit from all the benefits of Estonia being in the European Union. For cryptocurrency, that is not that overly important, but you at least get bonuses as part of a very big unified market. And the thing is that Estonia works with the European Union, its legislation is in conformity with the European Union. So if you can be sure that the ML policies and things that you have set up in Estonia are adequate for the whole market of the European Union. So that's already good. And in generally speaking, what is good in all of Europe is more or less fine across the world.
And as you say, Estonia is very advanced in technology, right? And you can obtain the residence online. That is amazing. And you know what are the requirements?
I specify it's e-residence. It doesn't. It's e-residency. You can't come here.
Okay.
It's not a travel document. It's only basically an ID card that allows you to access all the services. But if you want to open a company, yeah, good enough. The only thing you need to do for that is enter the website, input the necessary data, upload the scan of your passport, say where you want to receive the card, and you can receive it in any foreign representation office of Estonia abroad, which there are tons. Then you just, in 10 days or a month, you go, get your card, and you're set. You just download a program for it to work, which is very small. And you can, again, open a company, sign an agreement, and etc.
Perfect. And what about the white paper? You need to present the white paper for the authority?
What do you mean exactly? You mean
a
white paper for a crypto company?
Yeah, in the same example for to raise money for the license for the initial coin offering, you need to present a white paper for is some of the requirements for raise money?
No, the white paper is not a requirement, nor do you need a business plan or anything like that to get the license. They ask for a description of your business. Yes, that's true. What they want to see is that you have an actually solid idea and you know what you are doing. They do not judge it on the basis of originality. They just want to see that it's actually something solid. So you do not need to provide a business plan or something like that. From some other financial licenses, yes, that is required. So for example, if you want to open, I don't know, a credit institution and give out loans here, yeah, there that exists. For a crypto company now,
Okay, perfect. And is there a
One additional very interesting bonus, just for example. Obviously, a company working on financial market needs an active account. I mean, bank account or payment system account. And for the Estonian purposes, you do not need to have one in Estonia. You can have one anywhere in the European Union. Bank account, payment system account, anything suffices as long as it's in the European Union. Again, many options, many variants.
great, another benefit.
Hmm?
And is there a markets in crypto assets regulation project? Do you think it has benefits or restriction for the entrepreneurs?
You mean the license itself as a restriction? Well, it's a license. It's relatively easy to obtain, so I don't see it as any type of restriction.
Okay, great. And your experience in anti-money laundering, can you share with us some, I don't know, some example that you live in a project or something like that?
Well, obviously, I can't give you names.
With detail.
Yeah, due to my I have obligations to maintain secrets of my clients. But for example, we had a client who was going into the crypto business and was developing his own software for doing that. And he actually worked out and developed a relatively solid system that does most of the necessary functions for the proper KYC, know your client or know your customer procedure. And it greatly benefits the ML officer that works in that company because the system takes the workload of his shoulders. So that software, as it works, does a very solid analysis on the things that even a person might not notice. For example, the software notices if the scanned image of a document was in any way altered, for example, through Photoshop. For example, I am legally qualified to be an ML officer by our laws, but I have no doubt that I would be rather bad at telling if the document was photoshopped or not. So for example, if I would be an ML officer in that company, I would love such a program working with me. And it does a lot more than that. That's just an example you asked for. Another thing for which I can tell is that, as I said, ML officers need to be locals, and they must have a necessary education or necessary knowledge about how to perform their duties. And we, the company DKLX here in Estonia, we're a whole group of companies, and we have a business school, and we drew up and prepared an educational course for those who wish to work as ML officers. So it's basically a very intense 2-week course, can be prolonged to a month if a person has constrictions with time. And we go through from basic theory on what money laundering is and how to combat it to actually practical applications. So we teach people how to present notifications to the state authorities, how it is done, what information you must save and give, what you must turn your attention to, how you evaluate risks, or what kind of risks there are. And overall, people who go through our course are accepted as ML officers by the state authorities. So that's again another niche we try to fill in order to help people get this license. So they may find a local person here. He is more or less not knowledgeable, but maybe he needs some extra course to go through to be really competent in what he's going to do. Because the thing is, ML officer, he is liable for for what he's doing. So he is responsible if he basically doesn't do his job properly.
And the other question is, what about the Estonian license? If you get one, in which countries does the license serve you, or in which countries could you raise money?
All right. A very common question, actually. Well, yeah. People who get the license in Estonia actually are not very happy if they can work only in Estonia. The thing is, in such cases, you have to also turn to the legislation of the country where you wish to work additionally. Overall, in most countries, cryptocurrency and related services are kind of a gray zone right now. So as long as you have a license in a respectable jurisdiction, like Estonia is, most of the countries will be perfectly happy. But some countries have their own internal regulations that may require you to either get a license there, which is rare, or get some kind of authorization from the local authorities to expand your business there. So for example, Germany, if we take, it's within the European Union, basically you have to give them information on how things are going in your company related to money laundering prevention. They will review it, say, yeah, that's good, you can work here. So it's not like you go through the license process, you get authorization from them. In the United States, you have to get the FATCA registration. Again, that is done relatively quickly. And you have certain monetary limitations on how much money you can raise. Sometimes there is limitations on who you can get money from. For example, qualified investors. That's a thing in the United States. Some states may have some additional requirements because in the United States, every state can provide its own limitations. But overall, generally, that FATCA registration is enough. So if you expand your business to other countries, especially if it's a very respectable jurisdiction, it is always best to make a proper inquiry on how it is regulated there and if you need anything there. Because there are actually countries that outright forbid cryptocurrencies. Well, if that's the case, you can't work them, at least legally. But overall, from personal experience for clients, once they set up a company here and start working, get the ball rolling, so to speak, they do not get that many obstacles in general. So regarding those extra authorizations or from other countries, that sometimes comes into play when they actually open offices there. But if we're talking from pure formality, if you want to expand to the United States or Australia, just try to consult someone there, or at least make a certain inquiry, and if you need to do something extra, just to be safe. No sound, I can't hear you. Jorge, I can't hear you. You have your mic turned off.
Sorry. And what about Estonian license? No. Let me change the question. What do you think is the future of regulation for crypto regarding money laundering and taxes? What do you think about that?
All right, that's a very good question, because today I started from the development of the legislation, basically how it becomes somewhat stricter from time to time. I think that is the tendency that will go on for some time. The state organs, governments will work out ideas on how to regulate this. I don't think anyone will outright forbid cryptocurrency or severely limit. for an obvious reason that it's a big market and big market with big money. So, but they want to make sure that it is a transparent and regulated market. So as the time will go on, perhaps they will work out more requirements on how exactly companies have to operate. Maybe they will work out actually some kind of universal softwares that such companies may be required to use. Who knows? Or maybe they will basically get a list of, okay, this software we know is good, you can use that. And it will go in that way. Maybe requirements will shift here and there. Maybe they will say, okay, you need a person with an actually financial degree. Or maybe they in the future will increase the share capital by a certain amount. Maybe they will say that the license review process will be extended from the current 2 months maximum to maybe 4 months, I don't know. So it will become more complex and a bit more strict. At the same time, it will become more easier to navigate. You will have answers to questions that currently are in some way remain unanswered or vague. So this will help. It will develop eventually into an actually regulated market with very solid, very understandable legislation. And once that process that is, it is going on right now. So once that process is finished, it will provide a certain level of solidity, of certainty to this market, and it will become a very everyday thing for most of the people, I think. I personally think that cryptocurrency is kind of the future of the world. That is the next step in the development of our finances, of how we pay for things. Because if we actually look at the history, that is how things go. We went from a natural exchange to coins minted from precious metals to paper money, right? Now to electronic money. That actually seems kind of logical for me. So I think that's how it will go. So overall, I can't predict the specifics of how legislations will change, obviously, but that is the general way it will go. The thing I can support that idea with is that money laundering prevention, at least the standards, are worked out by the Financial Task Force, FATF.
Yeah.
As an international organization, and they do not consider cryptocurrency as something illegal, as a potential risk that must be regulated. Yeah. And that's what they are working towards. So all the FATF recommendations that currently exist are actually quite applicable to the cryptocurrency market.
Yeah, I agree with you. And the other question is, what do you think of central banks take out cryptocurrency?
Regarding the central banks, I think that cryptocurrency is currently kind of on a level where you can't really combat it. It exists, and like it or not, it will continue to exist. So what the central banks will have to do is figure out how they want to coexist with it and maybe adapt to it. So the thing is that the central banks can't change the world changes them. So they react to it. And in my opinion, sooner or later, they will have to, in some measure, connect the system. Perhaps someday, I'm not sure when, maybe very soon, we will be able to see state-funded or state-created cryptocurrency. Why not? I see no reason why it shouldn't be. There are actually talks about this in some countries. There is for example, in China, they talk about the digital yuan, for example. How it will be it be a crypto? What kind of crypto? Will it be centralized? Will it be not centralized? How other countries will relate to it? I have no idea. But it's something the world will eventually figure out.
Great. And in Estonia, what kind of license you can obtain? For example, you can obtain a license for exchange, for ICO.
Actually, it's very simple. When it comes to cryptocurrencies, there is one license that is called the license for provision of cryptocurrency services. And when you apply for it, you specify what exactly will you be doing with it. For example, you can perform exchange operations, and that includes fiat to crypto, crypto to fiat, and crypto to crypto. So yeah, to exchange Bitcoin to Ethereum, you also need a license. You can open cryptocurrency wallets for storing such cryptocurrencies. You can operate an cryptocurrency exchange platform. So basically, it covers most of the stuff people generally do with cryptocurrencies.
Great, nice information. And when you think is probably the Estonia continue with the crypto-friendly country, or change if the regulation start to change, Estonia start to implement new kind of rules? What do you think about that?
Well, it will certainly implement rules, and as I said, it will continue to develop its regulation. But I think it will overall remain crypto-friendly. There are no signs of things going otherwise. Even currently in the works, there is a change to the current legislation that will set up some extra rules and specifics, but in no way does it in any way limit the cryptocurrency services that can be provided, or in any way limit this market. So considering that Estonia positions itself as an IT-friendly country, as a crypto-friendly country, I see no reason why it would change its mind all of a sudden. So, and considering that there is no logical reason to do that, I don't see such a development going on. I think it will remain crypto-friendly.
Okay, thank you. And to close the talk, do you like to share with us some recommendations if we start a project in Estonia? And the other thing, if you can share with us your social networks, please.
Well, I think to provide some form of an assistance or an idea on how it all works, I can basically describe what and kind of services we provide to our clients and how it all operates. So for example, a client turns to us, says that, okay, I have an idea, a business concept. I wish to make it. I wish it to exist. So the first thing we do is help him set up a company. How depends on the client. So maybe he has an e-residency card, then we do all online. If he doesn't, he can come here personally or send us a power of attorney, and we set up a company for him. Then we help him rent out an office, form the share capital, find him a local member of the board, find him a local ML officer, provide him with this educational course if that is necessary. And once everything is done, we draw up the ML policy depending on his business concept, and help him apply for the license. The only thing basically the client has to provide us is the document proving that he's not a criminal. That's about it. Then the state fee is paid, the state authorities review the documentation within 2 months, generally faster. They issue the license if all is to their liking. Yes, of course, they check the information through their own internal services. So if they find something we did not know about the client's biography, well, that's out of our hands, but I don't really remember that happening ever. And that's about it. The person has a company, has a license. We continue to provide legal support and consultations on how he must operate, how he can evaluate risks, notify clients. We can help draw up the necessary documentation for his website, for example, like terms and conditions for his website, privacy policy. He must work in conformity with the GDPR requirements here in the European Union. So we continue to provide him with legal support. And that's basically the system that works. He has his business, it is legal, he has a team, basically. He's a member of the board, he's an ML officer. And if questions come up, we help him resolve them, be it questions of legal nature, maybe questions of accounting, because we provide accounting services here for crypto companies. And the person continues doing his business. That's basically how it goes. As for our software or maybe our social networks, well, you can visit our website in Estonia. You can find us on Facebook too, or you can contact us, send us an inquiry, and my colleagues or perhaps myself will be happy to reply and provide you with the information you need to go on with your business.
Great, great. I think there are many people who will certainly want a license in Estonia for a crypto project. We share with you, with the public, we share your contact details, if you are okay.
Sure. It will be our pleasure to work with you.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you for the conversation. It was a great conversation. So many details, what do you need for obtain a license in Estonia. Thank you, Andrew. And Dimitri, please, thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. It was my pleasure, really, to speak with you. I was happy to share any knowledge I have, and hoping to hear from you soon. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. See you soon. Thank you, everyone, to connect in this hour.
No problem.
See you, Andrew.